Welcome to Watermelon. Being rich and famous might seem like a dream. Celebrities live a life of luxury, with flashy cars, grand houses, and adoring fans. But they're still human. They make mistakes, just like everyone else. Sometimes those mistakes are bigger than a bad movie or a flop song. Sometimes they break the law. In this video, we shed light on 10 such celebrities who swapped their designer suits for prison uniforms, and their luxury villas for jail cells. Mark Wahlberg. Let's rewind to the 1980s, to the gritty streets of Boston, where a young Mark Wahlberg was just another kid from the block. Today, he's a Hollywood powerhouse, with a net worth in a ballpark of $400 million. But back then his future seemed far less promising. Wahlberg's early life was a far cry from the glamour of Hollywood. Raised in a troubled family, he dropped out of school and found himself entangled in a life of crime, dealing cocaine, stealing, and engaging in violent behavior.
Most of that time I spent running around the streets, getting a street education. I left school at an early age. I quit school at 13. Ended up getting into a lot of trouble.
Yet it was an incident at the age of 16 that changed everything. Then a budding rapper, Wahlberg attempted to steal 2 cases of beer from a Vietnamese man. The robbery took a violent turn, with Wahlberg knocking the man unconscious with a wooden stick, nearly blinding another one, and hurling racial slurs at them. His actions could have led to a severe sentence of up to 10 years.
You know, when I heard the jail doors close behind me, I started praying right away. But I knew that that was just the beginning for me, because I knew I really wanted to turn my life around.
In the end, Wahlberg was sentenced to 2 years in prison, of which he served 45 days at the Deer Island House of Correction. Jamie Whalet. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you probably remember when Krabby mysteriously disappeared. And then was replaced by another actor for the 2 final parts of the series. Ever wondered why? Well, the actor that played him, Jamie Whalet, had some real-world troubles brewing. In 2009, Whalet found himself on the wrong side of the law, caught growing 10 cannabis plants in his mother's home. This little venture into herbology didn't go unnoticed, leading to 120 hours of community service for the budding wizard. But the story doesn't end there. Fast forward to 2011. Amidst the chaos of the London riots, Whalet was captured on CCTV, but he wasn't just an innocent bystander. He was seen carrying a petrol bomb, a dangerous leap from his on-screen mischief. As a result, Whalet was sentenced to 2 years for violent disorder and another 12 months for handling stolen goods. His sentence was served in the bleak confines of HM Prison Wandsworth. 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine exploded onto the rap scene with an image as bold as his music.
You dumb, stupid, or dumb. I don't even know like why I did that. I don't even know like why I.
But the headlines he made weren't limited to his chart-topping tracks. Legal troubles seemed to follow him as closely as his fan base. His most infamous run-in with the law began in 2018. Hernandez was arrested on racketeering charges, weapons charges, and conspiracy to commit murder. The details are chilling.
What sorts of things did 9 Trey members do?
We participated in a lot of, violent crimes.
It turned out the rapper was involved with a violent street gang known as the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods. Facing a minimum of 47 years in prison, Hernandez struck a deal. He cooperated with federal investigators, testifying against his former gang associates.
Give a fuck if I'm held accountable for what I did. Yes, I snitched and I did it proudly, right? But everybody who snitches, everybody should be held accountable.
In the end, his sentence was significantly reduced to just 2 years. Of this time, he spent 13 months in jail, with the rest of his sentence served under house arrest. Denny Trejo. Before his well-known portrayals of hardened criminals on the silver screen, Trejo's real life was a script more dramatic than fiction.
But then at 12 years old, he introduced you to heroin.
Okay, well, in his defense, I caught him shooting heroin. I threatened to tell on him if he didn't give me some. You know what I mean? So. Okay.
By the tender age of 12, he was already entangled in a life of drug addiction and crime. Trejo served an 11-year sentence in several California prisons, including the notorious San Quentin. primarily for drug offenses and armed robberies. The turning point was selling a bag of sugar to an undercover cop, thinking it was heroin. In prison, Trejo wasn't just serving time. He was also reigning as a boxing champion, dominating the ring and earning respect among his fellow inmates. However, an incident during a prison riot sent him to solitary confinement. Trejo struck a prison guard, and the consequences looked dire. He believed he might face the death penalty. Eventually, Trejo dodged the Grim Reaper, and this brush with potential doom prompted him to take a path to sobriety and rehabilitation. After his release from prison, he worked as a drug counselor, assisting others struggling with addiction, serving as a beacon of hope from a place of past despair. Robert Downey Jr. Downey Jr.'s life off-screen was as turbulent as his on-screen alter ego's battles. From the late 1990s through the early 2000s, Downey Jr. found himself entangled in a relentless series of drug-related offenses. His addiction pushed him to extreme lengths. He broke into a neighbor's house, thinking it was his own, and was discovered sleeping in a child's bed. He even missed a court-ordered drug test, leading to a year-long stint in California's substance abuse treatment facility and state prison in Corcoran.
Resources to keep you out of state prison. I'm going to incarcerate you in a way that's very unpleasant for you. I'm doing that because I believe if you understand that's where you're going, maybe it'll save your life.
In prison, Downey Jr. didn't have the luxury of his Iron Man suit or a swift rescue by the Avengers. He spent his days washing dishes and his nights fearing for his safety. But just like his Marvel character, Downey Jr. made a spectacular comeback. Post-prison, he found sobriety and rebuilt his career, eventually becoming one of the most beloved and highest-grossing actors of his generation. Chris Brown. With his slick dance moves and soulful voice, Chris has earned himself a significant fan base, but unfortunately, his personal life hasn't been as smooth as his choreography. The incident that shocked the world occurred the night before the 2009 Grammy Awards. Brown and his then-girlfriend Rihanna found themselves in a heated argument. The spark was Brown's infidelity. The dispute quickly spiraled out of control, culminating in a violent fight that left Rihanna with visible injuries.
Remember, she tried to kick me. It's like just her just being upset, but then I really hit her.
Brown faced the music by turning himself into the police, later pleading guilty to felony assault. The consequence was a 5-year probation period, mandatory domestic violence counseling, and 6 months of community service. However, he found himself behind bars, not for the assault itself, but for violating his probation. This landed him a 108-day sentence in jail. Soon after, he was sentenced to another 131 days for assaulting a fan. R. Kelly. R. Kelly has given us many chart-topping hits and memorable tunes. I believe I can fly. Yet his prolific career has been shadowed by a long string of serious legal issues. Kelly's legal troubles began in the early 2000s, when he was charged with multiple counts of child pornography. However, it wasn't until 2019 that he found himself in even deeper legal trouble, facing multiple allegations of sexual abuse. The R&B star was charged with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. The following year, Kelly was hit with even more charges, including kidnapping, forced labor. His alleged crimes spanned over 2 decades and involved several underage girls. These serious allegations led to Kelly's incarceration without bail. The courtroom drama culminated in his conviction on all counts, and he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Wesley Snipes. Known for his role in Blade, Snipes' on-screen battles against supernatural villains are legendary.
Which one to use to kill you with?
Off-screen, however, he faced a different kind of adversary, the Internal Revenue Service. In 2006, the government cast Snipes in a real-life drama, charging him with conspiracy to defraud the US and failing to file tax returns. The plot thickened when it was revealed that Snipes had not filed taxes for 5 years, amounting to a whopping $14 million in unpaid taxes. In 2008, this action-packed saga culminated with Snipes being sentenced to 3 years in prison for willful failure to file tax returns. After a series of appeals, Snipes surrendered to authorities in December 2010 and begun serving his sentence. Khloe Kardashian. As 1/3 of the Kardashian sister trio, Khloe's life is an open book, broadcast to millions on the hit reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But one chapter of her life she probably wishes to forget involved a brief encounter with the law. Back in 2007, Khloe was arrested for driving under the influence.
2 years ago, I did something stupid. I got a DUI.
Do me a favor, step out of the car.
A wild night out had taken a wrong turn, and she found herself facing a stark reality of a DUI charge. A stark contrast to the luxurious and glamorous life she usually enjoys. In 2008, she was ordered to serve 30 days in jail for violating her probation related to the DUI case.
Oh, I now have to serve 30 days in jail. I don't know how I'm going to tell my mom.
Kim, would you stop taking pictures of yourself? Your sister's going to jail.
But due to so-called overcrowding in the jail, Khloe spent less than 3 hours behind bars. 50 Cent. Jackson, from his bullet-riddled past to his star-studded present, has led a life that reads like the lyrics of a rap song. Before the platinum records and before he made his mark as a successful entrepreneur, he was a young man grappling with law and order on the harsh streets of South Jamaica, Queens. In 1994, just as he was laying the foundations of his music career, Jackson was arrested for selling 4 vials of cocaine to an undercover police officer. The story took an interesting twist when, during a search of his home, police found heroin, 10 ounces of crack cocaine, and a starting pistol. Faced with these damning charges, Jackson chose an unusual path. He pleaded guilty, but opted for a program that combined boot camp with treatment for substance abuse. His legal troubles didn't stop his ascent to stardom. 50 Cent climbed the charts, broke records, and became a household name in hip-hop. His criminal past merely a chapter in his compelling life story. Thank you for watching. We've got plenty more stories to share, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you in the next video.